Long before Christianity reached much of Europe, it had already taken root in the highlands of East Africa. In the 4th century AD, under King Ezana of the Aksumite Kingdom, Ethiopia became one of the first states in the world to officially adopt Christianity. This historic decision didn't just shape Ethiopia. So religious identity had forged a unique civilization where an African tradition and Christian theology blended, creating a powerful spiritual and political legacy that survives to this day, like the Kingdom of Aksum. An ancient African power by the 3rd and 4th centuries AD, Aksum was a thriving empire. Known across the Mediterranean and Indian Ocean worlds, it traded ivory, gold, frankincense, and enslaved people with Rome, Byzantium, Arabia, and India. Aksum's capital city was a hub of monumental architecture, stone obelisks, coin minting, and regional influence. According to tradition, he and his brother Adasius were shipwrecked on the Red Sea coast and taken to Aksum as young men. Emphasis on Old Testament traditions, including dietary laws, Sabbaths, and circumcision. The preservation of Judaic-Christian hybrid beliefs, including reverence for the Ark of the Covenant, believed to reside in Aksum's Church of St. Mary of Zion. Rich traditions of liturgical chant, iconography, fasting, and monastic life. It developed in relative isolation, often referred to as a Christian island in a Muslim sea. Despite repeated invasions, internal upheavals, and external pressures, Ethiopia preserved its church, monarchy, and identity. In the 16th century, it survived a major crisis when Ahmad ibn Ibrahim al-Ghazi, a Muslim leader from the Somali Adal Sultanate, nearly destroyed the Christian kingdom, but with Portuguese help, Ethiopia rebounded. This history of survival became a cornerstone of Ethiopian pride. Through centuries of isolation, Ethiopia's church developed its own liturgies, art and theologies standing as a testament to the richness and resilience of early African Christianity. Today, when we speak of ancient Christianity, Ethiopia remains a living link to the faith's earliest global expansion, a reminder that the roots of Christianity run just as deep in Africa as they do in Rome or Jerusalem. Over centuries, Ethiopian Christianity evolved into the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, one of the oldest and most distinctive branches of the Christian faith. They entered royal service and gained the trust of the court, especially the young King Ezana. The rock-hewn churches of Lalibela, carved directly into mountains, are still active places of worship and UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Millions of Ethiopian Christians observe fasts, pilgrimages, and festivals tied to centuries-old traditions. The story of Frumentius, Ezana, and the early church is still taught and celebrated today. He became the first Christian monarch of Ethiopia, and inscriptions from his reign show a clear shift from pagan to Christian language and symbolism. Ezana's coins, which previously bore pagan symbols like the sun and moon, began to display Christian crosses, among the earliest examples of Christian coinage in the world. Christianity quickly spread through the kingdom, becoming closely tied to royal authority, written law, and national identity. Frumentius encouraged the introduction of Christian merchants and missionaries to Aksum. When Ezana came of age, Frumentius traveled to Alexandria, Egypt, to seek support from the head of the Coptic Church. He was ordained as the first bishop of Aksum by Patriarch Athanasius, and returned to Ethiopia to lead the growing Christian community. Its rulers claimed descent from King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, linking Aksumite authority to both local legend and biblical tradition. Frumentius, the man who brought the gospel to Aksum. The story of Ethiopian Christianity begins with a Syrian Christian named Frumentius. King Ezana's conversion, sometime in the early 4th century, King Ezana converted to Christianity. Likely influenced by Frumentius and regional trade with Christian Rome and Egypt, a unique form of Christianity. Ethiopian Christianity developed independently, with strong influences from Coptic Egypt, but with many distinct local features. Use of Ge'ez, a Semitic language, as the liturgical tongue. Survival through isolation and adversity, Ethiopia's Christian identity endured even as Islamic empires rose around it. Cut off from much of Christendom for centuries, legacy and modern reverence. Today, Ethiopia remains one of the only African nations where Christianity is indigenous. Not a product of European colonialism. Faith forged in stone and story, the Christianization of Ethiopia wasn't merely a religious shift, it was the foundation of an enduring civilization. Deeply spiritual, yet distinctly African. Thank you for watching.